Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks, where we meet the top thought leaders and strategists in TradFi, digital assets, technology, and financial planning. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, and joining me on the desk at the Nasdaq Markets site, we have Steve Orr, CEO of Quasar Markets, as well as Scott Bauer, CEO of Quasar Trading, to discuss how AI is changing the way investment decisions are made. Gentlemen, it's great to have you both with us. Welcome to Trade Talks. And Steve, we'll kick it off with you. Give us, the quick rundown of where Quasar Markets fits within the ecosystem.
Yeah, well, Quasar Markets, thanks for having me on here, Jill, is all about one thing. We want to be the Amazon of finance, meaning that there are so many companies out there that do a wonderful job of bringing their products to the markets, but what if we could put a place where we bring all of that into one place? Maybe you have a better company that has charts or a better company that has data and putting it all in there, like Nasdaq Basic, and to put it into one area where the person itself could make that decision of what they want to see and how they want to see it on the screen.
And Scott, Quasar Trading?
Yes, so Quasar Trading is a financial education company that myself and 4 or 5 other instructors who are all seasoned traders actually trade and teach live with our students during market hours. So they're in a live room, virtual, but it's a live room, two-way communication, and we're teaching people how to not invest, but how to really understand the markets and make the appropriate decisions, or at least the appropriate decisions based on the analysis that we have. And so, people have a mentor, they have a guide, someone like myself that has been doing this for 35 years, all throughout the trading day. And so we are really first and foremost an education company, and we have about 17,000 students that will log in at any one time, and we teach them everything from equities, options, and now how to use AI appropriately.
Which is interesting because you're talking a lot about people here. How is
Yes.
AI changing the way that investment decisions are made?
Yes, and it is happening very, very quickly. So we have opened up one of our trading rooms as an AI room. And what does that mean? Because everyone wants to know, what is AI, right? I got to follow this AI stuff. All AI does at this point in the investment community is it aggregates data so much quicker than anybody ever thought was possible. So if you're doing research and trying to make a decision on, should I buy Costco, or where's Costco going in the next 48 hours, the next 6 weeks, maybe there's some call options I want to buy, put options I want to buy. This aggregates that data in a nanosecond to give you ideas. AI is not the holy grail, right? So anybody that says, I've got this AI program and I've got to follow it to a T because I'm going to make $1 million, that's not the case. The real traders that follow AI will use what comes out of AI as an indicator. They will not use it to make their decision. They will use it as a subset of anything else they may use, technical analysis or whatever else, to help them make an informed decision. So the upside to it is that this data that is aggregated, in a nanosecond, I now have on our AI platform maybe 50 potential opportunities a day that I feel meet the criteria of how I want to trade within my risk management, which we'll get into that a little bit later on. That is the most important part about trading. But I'll have 50 ideas a day instead of maybe 4 or 5 ideas a day. Do I act on all of them? Absolutely not. And that's where the human nature comes into it. And we'll go into more of that.
Yes, guys, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're not going to change anything when it comes to AI. When it comes to the number one thing in trading is still human nature, right? We still have to make those decisions ourselves. Yes, we have algos that are trading, but it's still human emotion and human trading. But the one thing you want to learn about AI is one thing, and it's efficiency. How does it make the trader more efficient? How does it make them come up to that idea or that thesis, I like to call it? How does that make it easier for them to actually say, okay, yes, I want to buy Apple here because of this reason and this thesis? But AI also goes another level where they say, okay, we're going to give you answers to questions you didn't even know to ask, right? Why is the price of gold going up in Japan versus the United States? And it's going to give you answers that you didn't even really expect. normal traders go, okay, well, there's a reason because of India. But AI is going to say, hey, you know what? There's other reasons here. And they're going to give regenerative questions too as well to say, hey, look, here's other reasons of why AI or gold is going up, and here are the reasons for it. So one of the things, when I look at AI in general, I always ask myself one question, the ethics side of it, right? How is this making me a better person? How is this making me a better trader? Am I being more efficient in my trades? ESG, a lot of times you have to ask that question. But I think the one thing you always have to look at from the AI perspective is it giving me the right answer? And in doing that, here at Quasar Markets, we took it to another level, where AI is being banned a lot of places because it hallucinates. But what I wanted to do was create a place where the AI sits in the actual databases. So it actually sits in the Fred database. It actually sits in the Edgar database and you can ask the actual questions you really want to ask.
Well, to Scott's point earlier, he mentioned that AI is not the holy grail. Or some platforms better, than others? Because you mentioned, ethics is a big part of it for you as well. At the end of the day, it's data in, data out, and what's the right data sets?
Well, I'd like to say Quasar Markets is the best place for AI.
It's not like it's all created equal. There's one piece of magic AI software, and we just kind of plug it into our system.
I don't think there ever will be. I think AI is not going to be. If that was the case, then Microsoft and Google and Copilot. Why are there so many different AI programs, right? And the reason being is because they're going after different subsets. They're going after different questionings. In other words, Microsoft has its own data set. When people ask me what's the best AI to use, I always say, well, look at the data sets they have. Look at Salesforce CRM. They already have most of the data. Look at Google. They already have most of the world's data. Look at Microsoft with Bing. I think that's where the key players are when it comes to data. And that's what the whole world's really about, is data.
Right, and the reason I brought up, AI is not the holy grail. It's not like you just attach it to your platform and say, hey, we have AI, now you're the best trader in the world, the best designer, best attorney in the world. Like, it does matter. It's not going to, take the people out of the equation making those editorial decisions.
No question about it. And just because, Prosper Trading has an AI trading room, again, like you just said, that doesn't make us the best traders in the world. What it does is gives us an opportunity to then look into 10x the amount of potential opportunities that we did before. That is what is so significant about the way we use AI is having these the outputs to say, hey, let's look at this, but then using the human part of it, Steve, just like you talked about, to say, you know what, here's what AI is telling me, but from my trading knowledge, from my experience, I might follow the lead on that, but I'm going to twist that around a little bit, and I'm going to take a little bit different position, still with potentially the same outcome. But here, I may use a little different strategy based on my experience that AI doesn't have. And the AI that's out there is really twofold. It's ML and DL. So we've got the machine learning, and that's really where all of that data is being aggregated. Okay, but then the DL, that's the part that is not anywhere close to being perfected. And what that means is it's deep learning, where that learning is trying to replicate the human brain. And that's the part that I think is very inefficient at this point, but where I can step in, or a seasoned trader, someone that is, a so-called expert in the industry, and take the data that's come out already, but make it better.
Right. Let's talk about some more of the challenges here, Steve. Two questions for you. Do we have enough computing power to support all of the AI that companies are looking to leverage? And then, as we know, there's a lot of legacy systems within the financial services space. What are some of the challenges when it comes to integrating with that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I talked about it earlier. No, we don't. We need quantum computing. Quantum computing is going to be the necessary in the future. Why? Not just because it's bigger machines, not because it's bigger servers, but we need to have microtransactions. There's going to be a lot of more microtransactions we've ever seen in our entire lives, and it's going to be crunching a lot more data. A good example would be Intel, right? They're already working on some massive servers. Look, there's two things that we have to worry about when it comes to quantum computing. Where are we going to put these quantum computers, right? And do we have enough electricity to actually be able to do it, right? Because it's a real hog right now when it comes to, sucking down data, sucking down the people that are actually using it. All of a sudden now we have more people on the planet, we have more people actually using computers, more people that are crunching data. It's going to get a lot worse.
Well, you're also competing with other industries, like EV is an example.
Right, we totally are.
Just how advanced, or just how much capacity do we have? I guess is a question when you think about, is there enough power and computing to be able to support all these systems?
And I'm not sure we know if there is or not, because things are evolving so quickly, just like with any new technology, right? It starts a little bit, and then all of a sudden the speed at which we see things accelerating, and I don't think we've touched the surface yet.
No, we haven't. And
that's the part that scares me, is that we're going to get to a point, maybe sooner rather than later, where we don't have that computing power.
Right. It's Moore's Law, right? Where every iteration of technology
Exactly.
moves faster
Doubles,
than the
yeah.
actual capacity, and they have to think about the regulation around all of this too. I mean, which is what we're trying to figure out, and what does that look like?
Yeah, there's no regulation right now. There's kind of a free-for-all right now.
Wild West.
It really is. When you look at that, you're seeing some areas, their water is drying up. They're having droughts because of electric issues. That's a problem. Look at Las Vegas example. But for me, look, we can't stop the progress of technology because of that. But we have to find renewable energy, and there's companies out there that are working on this process already. So I'm not too worried about that right now. We still need to build because, quite frankly, data lakes are important.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, it goes. I know we're going off the rails here, pardon the pun here, but even like with think about EV, you still need you could have all the technology in cars and vehicles available, but you need the infrastructure to be able to do it. Same thing applies for trading. And again, we're in a very heavy regulated industry as it is. Never mind AI. So when you think about the next evolution of AI in trading, what do you think this looks like?
Well, I think what we just touched on, that DL, right? That deep learning, that's the part that people have to concentrate on. And are we ever going to get to the point where the deep learning, the neural side of things can replicate what I'm thinking, right? I've been doing this for 35 years. What sort of program, platform out there is going to give me the data, but then make the decision for me of what I'm going to do? I can't fathom that. I don't know how quickly we can get that sort of technology out there, nor do I know if I want that technology out there, because quite honestly, I believe that's what still gives me an edge, and my students an edge, is that we can take this other data, but then have the knowledge to make our own decision based on that. And I'm afraid that if we get to that point where the two things are combined, the data and then the human interaction part of AI takes over, that's where I think, Steve, as you were talking about, the algos, the HFTs that are out there, we think they're quick now, we think they're making lightning fast decisions now. That's where I think you might get into a situation later on that almost the retail trader might have a big problem with.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to play a game of chess versus checkers. And we had mentioned before off camera, you had said, what we're doing is we're asking questions for people who didn't even realize that they have these questions, and organizing the data sets in a way that's more logical than the human brain organizes it.
Exactly.
Jill, what if I told you the next 20 years we won't even be typing on a keyboard? We'll be using wearables, and we'll be tapped into the machine itself with neural networks. I think Scott mentioned that too. Elon Musk is very close to the neural network. I think as traders, we'll be literally wearing something, whether it's an eye or whether it's on a watch. We're already seeing that now. And traders will be a lot faster. They'll make better decisions. They won't be carrying around their phone. They'll be looking down and goes, yes, I want to buy that stock. I'm done. That's why, because I saw something, or I saw something in my AI that told me that, hey, you know what, this is moving. That I think it's going to be literally at the speed of thought as opposed to the speed of typing. We're going to be buying and selling equities faster than ever before, probably the next 5 years.
Yeah. See, and this is where it gets interesting, because I know you do some work with Web3 as well. When we think about the future of the trading desk, if you will, I mean, I know everyone has it's like a virtual chat room where you can be like on a virtual desk with Discord or however you want to do it. Well, when you start using hardware such as that, then you start to think about, okay, now we're sitting on a virtual trading desk and the Web3 applications that can help enable that. I mean, then you have that component of it too, which is interesting.
And how will that maybe take it to the next leg in what we know of today with human interaction that touches and feels every trade out there, whether it's stocks, options, whatever it is? Is that totally going to take over? We know how the total sector has changed over the last 20, 25 years, from complete open outcry to now, 97% or so of all order flow doesn't even hit a trading floor, which a lot of people don't even know that there still are live trading floors out there. So are we going to get to that point then that trading floors really become obsolete, and that human touch, that human interaction becomes completely obsolete. That's what scares me the most.
Well, Scott, this is a very subjective question. Obviously, I'm not sure there's any way to, quantifiably measure this. But do you think, based on the students that you're teaching, I believe you said 17,000 members access it, are retail traders getting smarter? Are they getting better at what they're doing as AI helps to improve the industry?
Absolutely, they are. The ones that want to get better, they do have the ability to get better. Yes, I have seen a big uptick, a big increase in the amount of questions coming into us, the amount of analysis coming into us from our students saying, rather than doing this, I was kind of researching this, what if we did it this way? And I've seen a big increase in that. So I think that the retail trader out there is a lot smarter right now, and they have the ability, there is the accessibility out there to get them data in real time, as much or as little as they want. And there is a thing called, too much data, right? Data overflow. But yes, they have become a smarter trader. And I think the ability to connect what's trading over here, whether you're trading an equity, an option, and tie it to maybe a future over here or the Japanese yen over here, that used to be only for the big guys. That only used to be for the big banks. I was a vice president at Goldman Sachs and traded in the S&P 500 options pit for them. And every trade that we made, that would be hedged off instantly with a different asset class. That ability is coming to the retail trader.
Yeah, well, and because of all the products that exist out there and all the data that's being derived from them, basically is the genesis behind Quasar.
Right. Yeah, and one of the things that Scott and I kind of grew up in the futures pits, we know all that. Look, what if I could sell gold and buy land over here, and I can move all that through Web3, and I can build it right into in the platform? We did that too, is right. And what we haven't been able to do in the past, we haven't been able to do that. Either buy futures or you had to buy an equity. You couldn't really have all of it in one place. And I think that's making the trader much smarter. They have to take more data in order to make those trades happen. So yeah, I definitely believe that AI is part of that side of it, but we'll never take the human emotion of it. And I hope that we never ever stop the trading floors. I think that's part of who we are as a firms. But the one thing that we need to understand when we're looking at AI and we're looking at buying and selling of actual physicals is that people want to own things. They want to own experiences. They want to own it. That when they get silver, they don't want to just put it in a vault. They want to have it in front of them. They want to be able to touch it. That's very cool. And we wanted to create a place for Web3 that allows us to do that. So yeah.
All right, gentlemen, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. And thanks for joining me from MarketSite. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.